Have you ever had that feeling deep down that there's some hidden gift inside you? You know, a potential that's just waiting to be unlocked? Well, in this explainer, we're going to dive into how finding a state of flow can bring that potential out into the light and totally transform your life.
This quote just nails it, doesn't it? Real, true fulfillment. It's not about what you get, it's about what you do. When that action lines up perfectly with your deepest purpose. It's that feeling of being exactly where you're supposed to be. And that's the big question, right? What if that thing you're here for isn't some big, obvious sign? What if it's just a quiet whisper, an unrealized gift you haven't brought into the world yet? And that brings us to our first big idea. You see, the truth is, our greatest gifts, they don't just show up one day fully formed. They almost always have these really humble, really hidden beginnings. I absolutely love this comparison. We always celebrate the final thing, the tall, strong tree that everyone can see. But we completely forget about all those years of quiet preparation that happened unseen, in the dark. The strength of that tree comes entirely from the root system that grew long before anybody ever noticed. And this is so key. Those moments when you're unseen, when you're preparing and learning and building your foundations, that's not wasted time. That is the essential groundwork where you build the strength for your future impact, long before you're ever in the spotlight. Okay, so if our gifts are developed in private, what's the next step? How do we make that jump from hidden preparation to actually sharing our purpose with the world?
Well, this leads us to the most important active step. It's all about recognizing those little sparks of inspiration, those quiet ideas that pop into your head, and then having the courage to just say yes to them.
This concept of being a co-creator is so powerful to me. Think about it. Inspiration needs a human partner. It needs our hands, our voice, our action to actually become real. The idea is the spark, but we are the ones who have to bring it into the world.
Let's look at a real story from the source material to see how this works. There was a school worker, and she was in this really tough spot. The environment between the school and the parents was just broken, totally hostile, and it was really hurting the students. It seemed like an impossible situation.
But instead of just accepting it, she said yes to this kind of radical idea. She saw that the root problem wasn't the parents or the teachers, it was the broken trust between them. Her inspiration was to fix that bridge first, even when all of her colleagues said, "No way, that won't work here." But by trusting that spark, she completely transformed the entire environment.
Okay, here's another amazing story. A caregiver in a nursing home, and she noticed that the residents were just withdrawn. They felt like their lives were basically over. All the joy was just gone.
Her inspiration was so simple: music and connection. She suggested having a happy hour with old songs. And, just like in the last story, she faced a ton of doubt. People thought it was a silly idea, but she tried it anyway. And the result? It was pure magic. People who hadn't spoken in months started sharing stories, dancing, even reconnecting with their families. She unlocked a joy that everyone thought was gone for good.
So what does it actually feel like when you say yes to inspiration? What's the result of these courageous little actions? Well, that's what we call the experience of flow.
I mean, this quote just captures it perfectly. When you're living in your purpose, you're not fighting against the current anymore. You're flowing with it. Things become natural, almost effortless. There's this deep, deep sense of rightness and freedom.
And the results of being in flow are very real. It's not just a feeling. Just like we saw in those stories, it's a state where creative ideas just pop up, new doors of opportunity swing open, and even the skeptics in your life start to turn into supporters. You don't just feel fulfilled, you start to touch lives way beyond your own.
So, the big question is, how do we cultivate this? How do we put ourselves in a position to actually hear that inspiration and get into that state of flow more often? Well, it all comes down to a specific mindset.
And here it is, the secret sauce. Inspiration doesn't live in the past or in the future. It only exists right here, right now, in this present moment. If our mind is somewhere else, we're just going to miss the call.
Our minds just love to trap us, don't they? We're either stuck in the past, regretting things or reliving old memories, or we're lost in the future, feeling anxious and trying to predict what's going to happen. But both of those places are illusions. The only reality, the only place where we can get a new idea and actually act on it is right here, in the now.
Now here's a really interesting idea about how all this connects to staying present. Think about a time when someone's criticism really got under your skin, really threw you off.
What if that person was just acting as a mirror, reflecting your own inner doubts right back at you? The idea is, if you have an intense reaction to someone's words, it might be because they're just echoing a negative belief you already have about yourself.
And if we can see it that way, it's not an attack anymore. It's a gift. It's this incredible moment of clarity, an opportunity to finally see a hidden belief that's been holding you back, and then you can finally begin to heal it. It brings you right back to yourself, right here in the present.
So, I'll leave you with this one question to think about. We all have these gifts that were developed in the dark, just waiting for us to say yes to an inspiration, waiting for that moment of flow. So what hidden part of you is ready to be shared? What will you finally let see the light of day?